Hey friends, welcome back to Dr. Spook, and if you are looking some scary videos, you are in the right place because tonight we have 20 scary videos for you. But before we begin, make sure to like, comment and subscribe because that's really important for me to make this channel grow. So without further ado, I don't want to waste your time. Dim the light, pull off your blanket or do whatever you do to relax, and as always, I hope you all have a great night. Let's begin.
Paranormal investigator Ryan, known for uncovering some truly terrifying encounters. This particular case took him to a house where the residents were convinced they were being haunted by the ghost of a young girl. They paid Ryan a hefty fee to investigate and, hopefully, put an end to the nightmare. Watch what he captured.
What's going on? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want with me? Come on, answer! What do you want with me? Not gonna answer me. What do you want? So, as you can see here, this is pretty much up against the wall. Nothing can really fit behind there. Windows are screened. There's no holes in the wall or anything like that. These are just standard stuffed animals. There's no puppets or anything like that. Just standard stuffed animals. And you can see there's no electronic interference, noise, or anything like that, because the poltergeist entity, whatever you want to call it, is not here at the moment in this room that I'm aware of.
Strangely enough, two stuffed animals in the room began shifting on their own, as though some unseen force was moving them. But as the camera shows, the room was completely empty aside from Ryan. He examined both toys thoroughly, checking for hidden wires, remote controls, or even mechanical triggers, but found nothing. No logical explanation. And this eerie moment happened less than 5 minutes after Ryan stepped into the house. It was just the beginning of the bizarre paranormal activity that would soon unfold.
This is the cupboard that was opening before. Much better look. You see there's no room for anyone to be hiding or anything in here. There's no holes in any walls. One of the questions I get asked a lot about is why you don't see my family in any of the videos. And that's simply because I value my privacy. And I'll share what I want to share. I don't need to share footage of my family. So that's just, again, another look at the cabinet. There's no activity on it at the moment. There is nothing next to it.
Later in the night, Ryan made his way into the kitchen. As he approached the pantry door, things took an intense turn. The door began shaking violently, accompanied by a piercing squeal that echoed through the air. Knowing he had to investigate further, Ryan opened the pantry. Just like before, there was nothing. No one hiding. Nothing out of place. No clear cause for the aggressive movement. It was undeniable. This home was deeply haunted. If you're interested in more terrifying clips from this ghost hunting session, hit that subscribe button because Ryan's encounters are far from over, and we'll be sharing much more in upcoming videos. A man named Tristan has been living under the shadow of an ongoing haunting for years, and no matter what he does, the ghostly presence refuses to leave. He's tried everything, cleansings, prayers, even ignoring it, but the paranormal activity always returns. Every time the spirit makes itself known again, Tristan grabs his phone without hesitation, desperate to prove that the terrifying encounters he endures are not just in his head. At one point, when Tristan heard strange noises coming from his bathroom, he hit record and cautiously turned on the light, only to witness something truly disturbing. The bathroom doorknob was twisting violently, as if someone or something was locked inside and trying to escape. That's when it hit him. He was completely alone in the house. As he crept closer, the door suddenly creaked open by itself. He slowly aimed the camera into the room, and no one was there. What should have been an empty, peaceful home now held undeniable evidence of a supernatural force, and another reason for Tristan to seriously consider leaving that haunted place behind. This eerie piece of footage was recorded by a home surveillance system just outside a residence somewhere in the UK. It was late at night when a woman returned home, parking her car in the driveway and casually stepping out. Everything appears completely routine, until something deeply unsettling unfolds.
Oh, Jesus Christ, look at that! Oh! Oh, God. Oh!
As she shuts the car door and walks toward the entrance, a ghostly voice suddenly echoes from the darkness. She gasps in shock, completely thrown off by the disembodied sound.
Oh, Jesus Christ, look at that!
Spinning around in fear, she scans the shadows for the source, but the camera picks up no one. Some viewers claim it might have been someone hiding among the trees, but others are convinced it was a supernatural presence. Something sinister watching, something that wanted her to feel the haunting truth. She was not alone. In this chilling video, Henry Alvarado was simply going about his daily routine, filming content for his YouTube channel. Determined to grow his audience, he was recording a how-to tutorial on disinfecting a pan and eliminating bacteria. Everything was running smoothly at first, until a minor slip-up forced him to stop and restart the video, clearly frustrating him a bit. At least it gave him a light-hearted moment to laugh off the error. But what Henry didn't realize was that his second attempt would be ruined too, and this time by something far more terrifying.
First thing I'm going to do to ensure the best quality hangover and to kill any nasty little bugs that are in the wine. Well, you can all stop asking me to upload a video now. What was it? It was this. Airlock. Hang on. You're on a tripod, so. What's this? Airlock. What was it? This one. Is that it? Do something else now, will ya?
Out of nowhere, an object hurled itself directly at Henry's head, and the footage is nothing short of disturbing. Most hauntings involve ghostly apparitions or unsettling noises, but in this case, the spirit took a more violent approach. Whatever entity was in the room wasn't just trying to scare him, it was trying to harm him. Thankfully, the object wasn't heavy or dangerous, or this paranormal encounter could have turned tragic. Henry knows he narrowly avoided something serious, and he's now reaching out to a priest for spiritual guidance in dealing with this supernatural attack. No one in this family ever suspected their home was haunted. It was less than a decade old, and everything about the place felt perfectly ordinary, except for one strange detail. Since childhood, they'd often hear the unmistakable sound of someone rummaging through a large plastic bin filled with Lego bricks upstairs. The same tub they once used to build bionicles, the loud clattering was impossible to miss. But at times, that distinct noise echoed through the house when absolutely no one was in the room.
Yeah, I hear that loudly. Dude, that is weird. That's loud. That's loud. Yeah, that's very loud. No, it's coming around now. Shh. What the heck? Dude, there's nothing anymore. Yeah, there's nobody up here. There's literally nothing in here. And look how heavy this is. Yeah. Hang on, there's nothing up here. What the crap? There's nothing in here either, look. I could hear it when we got about halfway down the hallway. Yeah, it stopped. As we got closer.
I just heard once. Like I came out and heard like shh. That's all I heard.
Yeah, but we heard it when we were sitting there. We were sitting and we heard it.
You heard it start?
Yeah. Yeah, we heard it start and it went for like...
How long ago before you got me?
It probably went for about 10 seconds, 10 or 15 seconds.
Let's watch it. Let's watch it. You'll watch.
In the footage they recorded, you can clearly hear the sharp rattle of plastic coming from inside the upstairs closet, just like someone digging through it. The two brothers sprint over, fling the door open, and find nothing at all. No one. Inside. No movement. Just an unsettling stillness. They assumed it was the same unexplained sound they'd grown used to over the years. But when they later showed the video to friends, and played it on their living room TV, someone pointed out something bone-chilling they'd all missed. In the very back of the closet, their old hand-built bionicle figure subtly turns its head, just before the clip cuts out. They bolted upstairs to check, and sure enough, it was right where they left it. Same pose. Same stance. And the creepiest part? The head joint was stiff, too tight to move on its own. The family claims they've never felt threatened, but since that night, no one dares open that closet without someone else nearby. In the early morning, when Zach was completely alone at home, he had planned for a quiet, peaceful night. Just him and the silence. But little did Zach realize he wasn't truly alone. With his parents away, he had full responsibility for the house. And up until now, the place had never shown signs of anything supernatural. But that would all change before sunrise. Zach claimed a series of strange occurrences took place, yet only one moment ended up being caught on video.
I don't this house anymore.
What? No!
He lay restless in bed, unable to shake a chilling sensation creeping over him. Already unnerved by earlier events, Zach grabbed his phone and began recording. The decision seemed random, but luckily so, because what he captured was unsettling, his trash can moving entirely on its own. His horrified reaction says it all. After this disturbing paranormal activity, not any follow-up updates from Zach. So, what truly unfolded afterwards remains a mystery. Was it a ghost, something demonic, or something far worse? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. On the night of September 29, 2015, a YouTube creator known as X-Man Gage uploaded a chilling video that quickly sparked concern across his viewers. The footage was filmed in what appeared to be his kitchen, and while the exact reason for hitting record is unclear, something must have triggered him. And thankfully it did. At exactly 1:33 a.m., an unsettling and terrifying chain of events began to unfold on camera. Initially, this strange activity might have been dismissed as technical glitches. Flickering lights are often blamed on wiring issues, but when the light fixtures began to sway unnaturally, even skeptics started to reconsider. Still, the true moment of terror came at the end. An explosive crash filled the room as numerous kitchen objects suddenly plummeted to the floor, eliminating any doubt. This wasn't electrical. It was a haunting. If X-Man Gage hopes to avoid another supernatural encounter, he and his family might need to consider spiritual cleansing before it returns. Luis was never someone drawn to ghost hunts or haunted explorations, but about a month after his mother's passing, something shifted in him. He felt compelled to try. She had chosen to be buried in an old cemetery notorious for intense paranormal activity, claiming she wanted to rest there intentionally. Her reasoning? If the graveyard really was haunted, she believed it would increase her chances of becoming a spirit herself. Though the family wasn't fully convinced, they respected her final wish. Now back to Luis. One night, he returned to that same graveyard, armed with ghost hunting gear, hoping to witness something tied to his mother. What happened next defied explanation.
Mande dijo. Dijo mande. Dijo mande. ¿Hombre o mujer? O se escuchó un hombre. Pero también se escuchó una mujer. Soy Ruth, dijo. Dijo así, no soy Ruth. Oye, Ruth otra vez. Sí, a Ruth dijo. Mames, vete a la... Dijo mi nombre. Luis dijo. Para los que no saben, yo me llamo Luis. A la madre. Dijo mi nombre, plebes. Y no se lo pregunté. Mames. No.
The spirit that had been following Luis in the days leading up to this footage did something chilling. It spoke his name aloud. That moment made him believe the entity could very well be the ghost of his mother. Even more unusual, there was no trace of that icy sensation typical of a poltergeist encounter. It gave off a much gentler presence, perhaps even protective. Although the idea of being haunted scared him, the possibility that it was his mom gave him strength to press on, and because of that, we now have another haunting clip worth examining.
Sí. ¿Quieres ayuda? Ruth. Sí. ¿Dónde estás? Dime dónde estás exactamente. ¿Dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás? Espera, se me está cayendo esta cosa que tengo. No sé cómo agarrar todo. Perdón, amigos, me está temblando mucho la mano. La busco entre tumbas, ahí no quiero grabar esa tumba. ¿Dónde estás? Vete a la bestia. ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Hola? ¿Dónde estás?
During this new recording, a distinct noise echoed from another corner of the cemetery. It wasn't a natural sound, definitely not wind or wildlife. It resembled something heavy falling over in the distance. Here's where it gets truly unsettling. The sound came directly from the area near his mother's grave. Luis has always believed it was her making contact, and he still stands by that belief to this day. This next footage was captured by an 11-year-old girl who noticed strange movement coming from the lower floor of her house. Curious yet terrified, she pulled out her brand new phone and started recording, desperately yelling for her mother as pure panic took over. But the moment she hit record, it seemed to anger the spirit, and then things escalated.
Mamá, venga, se está moviendo la silla. Mamá. Mamá, venga. Mamá. Mamá.
A nearby chair was already rocking, so it's unlikely that her filming triggered it. Once she started recording, a small toy car eerily slid across the floor by itself, followed by more unexplained movement from other objects. And witnessing all this as a child, that level of haunting would leave anyone scarred. This scary footage was recorded at the notoriously haunted Jerome Grand Hotel in Jerome, Arizona. In the footage, a man jolted awake in the middle of the night, and what he recorded on camera really chilled him to his bone. Take a look.
Okay.
He was jolted awake by the sound of footsteps racing across his hotel room floor. Panicked, he grabbed his phone, hit record, and switched on the flashlight. Moments later, a loud bang echoed in the room, followed by the bathroom faucet suddenly turning on by itself. This wasn't some faulty plumbing. The handle visibly twisted, clearly moved by an unseen force. What's worse, the camera showed that he was completely alone. Whatever spirit had made its presence known wasn't just watching. A man was woken up in the middle of the night by strange sounds coming from within his home. Terrified, he began recording a video, and what he captured on camera is truly terrifying. Take a look at what he caught.
Okay, guys. I just saw these metals. Look. Do you see that? Oh my gosh. What in the world? Oh. What? There's the metals again. That door just opened by itself. My house is haunted. Seriously.
Without warning, various objects in the room began to shift and move by themselves, and we're not talking about one item. It was multiple things, all stirred by an invisible force. The amount of paranormal activity surging through the space was intense, and the man described an icy, unnerving chill. This terrifying clip comes from the team at Dark Path Scary, who ventured into a home infamous for intense paranormal activity. Their channel specializes in exploring haunted locations, so naturally this house seemed like the perfect investigation. What they didn't anticipate, though, was the overwhelming power of the spirit trapped inside. Usually, they're lucky to capture a couple of supernatural moments per visit, but this time, they left the location with an abundance of ghost encounters caught on film. And right now, you're about to witness one of the most chilling moments they recorded. Take a look.
Is that you? If there are any ghostly spirits in this house, talk.
No way, dude.
Dude.
No way. Did that piano just seriously play by itself?
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Oh, dude, we should get out of this. Oh my gosh.
Oh, man. Holy shit. Hold on. We came here to do this. We're actually getting...
The moment the piano played a single note on its own, the crew was already convinced they were dealing with something genuinely haunted. But when the keys began slamming repeatedly with force, the mood shifted from creepy to hostile. That sudden burst of aggression was enough to send the experienced investigators fleeing in sheer panic, desperate to reach a safe distance from whatever dark force they had just awakened. On April 27, 2026, a woman named Giselle was alone inside her apartment in Dallas, Texas, when she was suddenly jolted awake by something absolutely terrifying. What began as strange noises in the middle of the night quickly turned into a nightmare that left her convinced she was dealing with something far more disturbing than an ordinary disturbance.
Obviamente no me voy a levantar a ver qué es, pero tengo miedo, estoy temblando del miedo. Si pasa algo... No mames. No mames. Creo que hay alguien atrás de la puerta. O algo.
As she listens from her bed and starts recording, something can be seen moving in the gap beneath her bedroom door. Whatever it is, presses and shifts against the bottom of the door in a way that feels deeply wrong. At first, it almost looks like a black shoe, but she cannot be sure. Fearing there may be an intruder, or something even worse, inside the apartment, she waits for the movement to pull back. Then, The second she gets the chance, she bolts out of the apartment and runs straight to her car.
Imaginación, no miré mal. Pero salí corriendo de ahí porque ya no puedo. Ya no puedo, ya no sé qué hacer. Son las 4 de la mañana. Pero sé que había algo ahí, sé que miré algo y no estoy loca. No estoy loca. Tengo que entrar a trabajar al rato y no he dormido nada. Estoy nerviosa, no sé qué.
What makes the case even stranger is that Giselle has motion-activated security cameras around the apartment, yet none of them detected anything at that exact moment. And still, something was clearly moving behind that door. Shaken, she contacts a police officer she knows and asks if anyone had died in the apartment in recent years. What he tells her makes the situation even darker. According to him, since 2022, 3 people have died in that apartment, and since 2024, there have also been 3 shootings there. Ever since that night, Giselle says her motion-activated cameras have started turning on and moving by themselves, as if they are following something inside the home.
Tengo miedo.
But whenever she checks what the cameras seem to be tracking, there is never anything there. No person, no animal, no clear source, at all. And the activity does not stop there. She says lights sometimes switch back on by themselves moments after she turns them off. And doors inside the apartment have also begun opening on their own.
Ay, no!
Then one night, while sitting in the living room, reading Psalm 91 from the Bible, Giselle is suddenly startled by something coming from another part of the apartment. The sound of a door opening can be heard from another room. Terrified, she pulls herself tighter into the sofa, hoping the same thing does not happen to the door near her. Then, on another night, one of her security cameras captures something else, something that makes the haunting feel even more real. In the footage, an object is suddenly yanked right off the table, and immediately after, what sounds like a woman laughing can be heard. Then the very next night, while Giselle is sitting there, eating and watching something on her laptop, another deeply unsettling moment unfolds, proving that whatever is happening inside that apartment is far from over. After everything she has experienced, and after learning the history tied to that place, Giselle says she has no doubt the apartment is haunted. The problem is, she had only moved in about 5 months earlier, and because of her situation, she cannot simply leave. She says she has repeatedly complained about the strange paranormal activity, and asked to be transferred to another unit, but every request has been denied. So now the question is not just whether the apartment is haunted, but who or what might still be inside with her. And if this case continues, it feels like things may only get even worse. This terrifying footage was recorded by a man named Sue after he got lost taking an unfamiliar route home and ended up at a church his landlord had once mentioned, a place her grandfather used to attend. But behind that church sat something even more unsettling, a cemetery. And if you have been following Sue's story, then you already know this is not where the fear began. He is the same man who has been dealing with repeated disturbances around his property, especially near the shed. The same shed linked to strange noises, unexplained movement, and the growing sense that whatever is there is no longer staying contained. According to the landlord, that very shed also drove her grandfather into madness before he eventually died. So by the time Sue found himself standing near that church and graveyard, this case was already carrying a very dark history.
I want y'all to bear something in mind. This is minutes from my house. Quite literally minutes from my house. I just stumbled across this completely by accident. Not only did I stumble across this by accident, say hello to Mr. Patterson's family. I don't believe in coincidences. Things don't just happen. I got lost on my way back home because I went away I never went before. And then I come across this. And looks like we got a new place to investigate. Catch up on the next one.
Sue says the moment he left, he felt like something followed him home. Not a passing fear, not simple paranoia, but a heavy, undeniable certainty that whatever had been near that grave did not stay behind. And because that feeling would not let go of him, he does not even go straight inside. Instead, he begins walking the property in the dark, as if some part of him already knows something is waiting.
And after that, I'm gonna go eat. Because I was hungry. I don't want to do this. I never want to do this. But the things I do for you guys, it's I think I know I have a light source somewhere. Is this light dead? I'm about to say, there's no way. There's little Miss Santa Claus. Please what? Need some good rice and peas after? Oxtails and rice. That's what I need. I didn't see her move. Don't even start that. I don't even want to go in there. Yeah, I stood her up. That was me. No worries. I can hear something behind me. How's work been going? Work has been going good. just lost my shoe. I just lost my shoe. No, thank you. Well, whoever suggested that I go in there, send me your address.
As the light from his phone cuts through the darkness of a cluttered garage, past bare walls, stacked shelves, old tools, boxes, and a gray gas cylinder in the corner, it suddenly lands on something that stops him cold. A doll, sitting in the middle of the room, staring straight back at him. It has wild white hair, a bright red outfit, and a face disturbing enough to resemble some twisted version of Santa Claus. Some viewers believe the doll is not the true focus, but more like a marker. Something placed there, or drawn there, as an anchor for whatever presence he may have stirred up at the graveyard. Others think Sue may have frightened himself and stumbled across something ordinary at the worst possible time. But to him, the coincidences feel far too precise. Getting lost, finding that exact church, discovering that cemetery so close to home, all of it feels connected, almost deliberate. Whether it points to something paranormal, a pattern only visible afterward, or simply a chain of deeply disturbing coincidences is hard to say. But what Sue finds when he goes back to investigate may either explain everything or pull this haunting into something far worse. The following shocking video was recorded inside a house a family moved into not long ago. A deceased estate, meaning the previous owner died there, and according to the family, the house may not have released everything that was left behind. Since moving in, their 3-year-old daughter has developed what seems to be an imaginary friend. On its own, that would not be unusual, but the specific things she says about this friend make the case far more unsettling. Watch closely. In the first clip, the little girl can be seen playing in the hallway, rolling herself backward across the wooden floor in a pink toy. Calm, comfortable, completely at ease. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than an ordinary moment. Just a child playing alone. But according to her mother, that is not what she believes is happening. She thinks her daughter is not alone at all, but interacting with someone she cannot see. Then in the second clip, the mother films from downstairs and begins explaining what her daughter has been telling her. And that is where this case takes a much darker turn.
So I don't know what to do with this information. And she's 3. Like, this is the first time she's ever had an imaginary friend, and you'd think it would be like a fairy unicorn or something, but it's not. It's the most standard middle-aged man, and he sounds like a real dude, and I now think that I have to go back through births, deaths, and marriages and figure out what the name of the guy was that lived here, because if his name is Joe...
The imaginary friend has a name. Joe. And that detail becomes deeply disturbing almost immediately, because he is not described like a typical child's made-up friend. He is not a monster, not a fairy, not some cartoon character born from a child's imagination. Instead, the little girl describes an ordinary middle-aged man, someone who likes working on his car, wears a red shirt and black gardening gloves, lives on the property, and has 2 children. The family also knows the people who sold them the house had 2 children. And then it gets even stranger. She says Joe spent a lot of time in the hospital, a detail that feels especially disturbing if the previous owner had been sick before he died. The mother does not come across like someone exaggerating the fear for attention. Her nervous laughter, her expression, the way she struggles to process what she is hearing, all of it feels genuine. And that is what makes this case harder to dismiss. Children invent imaginary friends all the time, but those friends are usually whimsical, playful, or fantastical. A 3-year-old describing a middle-aged man with specific habits, clothing, and details that seem to mirror the deceased former owner feels like something far more disturbing. Some believe young children are more open to paranormal presences, less conditioned to ignore what they sense. Others think she may have overheard bits of conversation and unknowingly built a character around them. But the mother says she plans to research the previous owner through public records, and if that name comes back as Joe, then this mystery may become something much more real. Until then, that unanswered question. Our first scary video comes from a family, where a father and his daughter say they have been documenting strange paranormal activity inside their own home. Not just noises in the dark or objects turning up out of place, but actual apparitions. According to them, one specific hallway leading down toward the basement is where the activity keeps returning, again and again. And what makes this case especially unsettling is that these figures do not appear like vague shadows caught in the corner of your eye. They seem to form with frightening clarity. Because of that, the two decide to try something risky. A simple test, designed to capture whatever may be revealing itself in that hallway.
I don't know how long you have to sit there. But, we're going on.
It's really cold.
Going on 14 minutes. Yeah. I promise you, because your sister's told me it's been up here all day.
Yeah.
So.
Don't.
No.
Don't.
Next time, Kaylee, I'll just grab it and look. Yeah? Well, don't look if you don't want to look, but just move the camera there.
Okay.
It's definitely there. Because I'm not looking, I'm looking at the screen. So.
I'm looking at you.
Go now. Up, down, just make sure we can see. I mean, that is fast. Nothing there, no?
No.
Did you capture anything at all? Because you were so fast there.
Yeah, no, literally nothing.
At first, something begins to form in the darkness, a dense black mass, slowly taking shape where there should be nothing at all. Little by little, the outline starts to resemble a head. The father notices it, but he does not react right away. He stays completely still, silent, almost as if he is trying to convince himself that what he is seeing is not real. And that detail stands out because in a moment like this, his lack of immediate reaction feels deeply unnatural. Then, during a second attempt, the situation escalates. This time, it is not just a shape in the dark. What appears to be a hand suddenly emerges from the black corner, reaching toward the daughter, as if trying to grab her. Only then does the father finally warn her. She turns, quickly grabs her phone and starts recording, desperate to understand what is happening. But the space appears completely closed off. No doors opening, no visible path for anyone to enter or leave, and no one there when they check. No cuts, no obvious edits, just one raw, continuous moment that leaves behind a far more disturbing question. Was this some elaborate setup, or is this family truly sharing their home with something that should not be there? In this creepy clip, there is no one anywhere in frame, just a fixed security camera, watching over a silent dining area. A wooden table sits in the foreground, with a glass fruit bowl resting on top. And farther back, a short hallway leads toward the kitchen, where two closed doors remain perfectly still. It is broad daylight, with natural light pouring in from the right, the kind of calm, ordinary setting most people would never think twice about. On the left side of the hallway is a small bifold closet door, an easy detail to overlook. And for several long seconds, nothing happens. Watch carefully. Then, without warning, the closet door does not slowly creak open. It violently bursts outward, as if something on the other side slammed into it. A second later, it snaps shut again, then it flies back open, even harder this time. And somehow, what happens next makes the footage feel even more disturbing. In the background, a laundry machine can be heard starting up, a completely normal sound, almost absurdly ordinary, as if that violent movement at the door never happened at all. No one appears anywhere in the footage, no hands, no wires, no shadow moving toward the door. Some viewers think it could be air pressure or a draft, but explanations like that become much harder to believe when the door moves with that kind of force more than once. Others believe whatever was behind that door wanted its presence to be known. And honestly, if that camera were inside your house, would you be brave enough to walk over and open it? In this disturbing video, a man living inside a very old house begins documenting a series of strange disturbances that keep happening around him. He says the activity does not feel openly violent, but it is unsettling enough to make him wonder what might still be inside that house with him. According to him, these moments do not happen all at once. They come quietly, deliberately, through small changes and subtle movement, just enough to be noticed, but never enough to be easily explained. Watch closely.
Like right now, I'm just sitting here in my living room. We're about to move. We're getting the hell out of here. I'm playing some video games. And like people are saying, oh, how do you know which cabinet's gonna open? It's always the same cabinet. Watch. Okay. Oh, hold on. Watch this. This is gonna creep you out. You guys, if you don't believe me, there's nobody in here. Seriously. Holy shit. You guys, seriously, you guys have asked for it.
The cabinets swing open on their own. Doors begin moving with no visible force behind them, and chairs shift position as if something unseen had just pulled them. On their own, each incident might seem minor, but together they begin to feel less like random house noise and more like a presence making itself known. One detail that may explain at least part of what is happening is the history of the home itself. The house once belonged to a former Marine, and because of that, the man believes the activity may be tied to a spirit still lingering there, something connected to a past life that never fully left those surroundings behind. Of course, others believe it could be something much darker, something only pretending to be the former owner in order to gain trust. But as always, you be the judge. This creepy footage comes from a security camera mounted inside what appears to be a workshop, filled with tools, tables, and storage equipment. The kind of place that should sit perfectly still for hours. No movement, no activity, no reason for anything to shift on its own. The timestamp reads 3:45 a.m. on March 10th, the kind of hour when a place like this should feel empty, silent, and completely lifeless. But almost immediately something feels wrong, because even in that stillness, it becomes clear that something is moving through the room. At first, the disturbance is subtle, then a shadow can be seen passing through. And that is where the footage becomes much harder to explain. Some viewers think a small animal could be responsible for the initial movement. But if that were true, you would expect more signs. Other objects shifting, something being knocked over, some visible trail left behind. Instead, the room remains strangely controlled, as if whatever is there is moving through the space without interacting with it, the way anything normal should. Others believe the location itself may be part of the mystery. The footage is said to come from Kroken Bridge, a quiet coastal area in Norway, surrounded by cold water, isolation, and long stretches of darkness. In old Scandinavian folklore, places like this were often associated with unseen presences, especially boathouses and workspaces near the coast, where territorial spirits were said to move objects, create sounds, and make themselves known when disturbed. So when you watch that shadow pass through the room, is it just something ordinary slipping out of frame? Or could it be something tied to that place? Something that was already there, long before the camera ever started recording? Back in 2016, a well-known Mexican hip-hop group uploaded a music video to YouTube that would eventually pull in more than 66 million views. But for many viewers, the most unforgettable part of that video had nothing to do with the music. It was a disturbing detail, hidden near the very beginning. In the opening moments, the lead singer can be seen sitting inside a vehicle when something suddenly appears in front of it. Something brief, ghostly, and deeply unsettling. Take a look. Out of nowhere, a translucent humanoid figure seems to materialize directly in front of the car, then vanish, just as quickly, as if it had never been there at all. The moment lasts only an instant, but it is clear enough to make people stop, rewind, and watch it again. And that is exactly what makes it so unnerving. The production crew says they have no idea what caused it, which only deepens the mystery. Was it some strange visual anomaly captured by chance? Or did this music video accidentally record something genuinely paranormal, standing in the road that night? What do you think? That ghostly figure really was